How you doing? I'm Melvin Jackson, and you have just tuned in to 15 Minutes of Fame. This is my own personal podcast, broadcast, whatever you want to call it. I use this to be able to reach out to individuals to give different viewpoints for different topics, debate on different topics, um, show different talent. It's just a plethora of things that will go on 15 Minutes of Fame. You never know what you're getting. However, today we're going to start out with grudges and the effects of them. First of all, let's be clear about what a grudge is. I wrote it down. It says a grudge is a persistent feeling of ill will or resentment resulting from a past insult or injury. Now, insult or injury. Something that hurt you, something that bothered you, something that disappointed you, something that made you feel like you came up short. It's exactly what a grudge is. Or not maybe that, but the feeling you get after it. People would debate about it so much to say, no, I don't operate in grudges, or no, I've never held a grudge, or I don't hold grudges. Yes, we do. No matter how nice you appear, no matter how wonderful you act, people still operate out of grudges. How do I know? I've done it. And it also says to be resentfully unwilling to give, grant, or allow something. I know that's pretty much everybody. We all as human beings, excuse me, have something in our life that we were not allowed to happen again. We won't give. We won't grant. All because of what has once happened to us before. And for people who don't really agree with it, hopefully by the end of this series you will. It's my prayer on a daily that God remove grudges or the spirit of grudge from my life, to give me patience, to give me a peace of mind. Because I realized personally that for over 15 years roughly, maybe even 20, I've been operating, and I'm only 31, I've been operating the majority of my life out of grudges. And I'm at a point where I can openly say that that was what I did, or that's how I've been operating, because I was once hurt by something or disappointed. The effects of grudges can definitely be detrimental to your health. Grudges will cause you to miss out on business, finances, love, peace, friendship, relationships. Like I've missed out and I've messed up a lot of things in my life just from holding grudges. Grudges is very, very unhealthy to our lives, whether you realize that or not. Before we get deep into the effects of grudges, let's talk about the different forms of grudges that people use. For example, myself. My way of holding grudges as a crutch is to always be like, well, yeah, man, I remember such and such. Even if I don't appear to operate out of it then, the fact that I can bring it up as an excuse shows some form of a grudge. And we all do it. This is something that we have to work on and work with to get over. Grudges will cause you to act a certain way with almost anybody, all the way down to your children. And that's something that I had to work on. Because with being a parent, kids feed off of your vibes. I remember growing up, just an example of my life, and I've had my grandmother dislike somebody for so long, for no reason at all, to find out in the long run something small that she held a grudge about. And that trickled down to us. I'm a prime example of an effect from grudges. If we're not careful, we'll pass grudges down as teachers to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation. People say, nah, man, I train my kids well. Okay. If you train your kids to dislike something, somebody, or if you even show them that you dislike something or somebody without giving a positive reason or a real excuse behind it, that's a grudge. So I grew up disliking people based off of what somebody else felt, off a grudge somebody else hold. A lot of times things aren't generational curses, They're teachings. We teach people how to operate out of grudges. Like I said, I'm a prime example of an effect from it. And if I'm not careful, the grudges that I had in my life, I pass down to my children. So we as parents, first and foremost, we have to be careful about what we do and the way we operate, because the people around us, especially our children, feed off of that. Now, going back to the effects of it as far as now, man, I've had so many different circumstances, just speaking on myself, first and foremost. I've had so many different circumstances that I knew better about, that I had the opportunity to change and pray and get out of, but I didn't. I wanted to stay in to prove certain people and even myself wrong, to only end up in the long run with grudges. And that goes back to that necessary and unnecessary suffering that I heard a pastor preach about. A lot of times, the effects are so small that we don't even pay attention to it. Whenever you can allow anything to hinder you from elevation, and that's just relationships, mental elevation, friendships, whenever you can allow it to hinder you, to hold you back, or to be able to bring it up as excuses. Hey, I've dealt with that before, I'm cool. Or, hey, man, I've heard that before, I'm good. Anything that you can say, hey, I've had it before, but it hindered you from trying again, man, that's a grudge. Because even in the Bible, it teaches you how to keep trying. It teaches you to not give up. In life, we always say, if you don't succeed, you got to try again. But the second we get a little ounce of grudge in our system, then we give up. We as people give up because we don't want to look for better. Excuse me. We get to a point out of grudges where we would allow that to have us look for the negative in situations. People will say, no, I don't look for the negative. I look for positivity. I feed off positive vibes. That's what I look for. No, you would like to have positive vibes. But whenever you're easily persuaded to anger faster than you are to happiness, that might be a form of a grudge. Whenever you can decide that, I'm going to do this because I don't trust it. How can you not trust what hasn't happened? How can you be scared of what you don't know? We live in the future, or the present, living towards the future based off the past. People say, no, I let my past go. I move on. That's a lie. Nobody does. Anybody that has ever been hurt has not moved on from their past immediately or as fast. Some of us get better with handling them, the past, or dealing with it, but we haven't moved on from it. And I can say that because I can speak for myself first and foremost, to be honest. Remember, you always have to be honest with yourself first. Like I said, it's crazy because to some people it's debatable, but it's really not. Grudges can hinder you and cause you to literally be a certain way with people and you don't expect it. A lot of times we get frustrated with our children and want them to be a certain way. We want them to be a little smarter, a little faster. We want them to know this. We want them to know that. But we forget that they're children. In the stages they're at, under 15, under 17, they're supposed to have fun. They're supposed to make mistakes. They're supposed to cause problems. They're supposed to do this. That's part of their lives. That's part of the journey. That's part of their journeys. What does that have to do with grudges? Okay. Glad you thought that, or glad you asked that. Because whenever you can fuss at your kids for not getting something right that they shouldn't already have down pat, that's a grudge. How do you figure that? Because you're unhappy with something else or someone else in a situation that didn't have something right. Whether it be that specific topic or situation, whether it be something different. The fact that you expect so much with so little knowledge. The fact that we expect so much from certain people and we put them or push them a little further ahead of their time, we're operating out of grudges. People will say, no, that's different. Yeah, it is. Because we're not giving or allowing them time to grow. You can't push people into a destiny that they're not ready for. You can't push people into a situation that they're not equipped for. You're allowing your own impatience, your own anger, your own resentment, your own problems, your own grudges to take over that. We have to do better. I've learned that the effects of grudges will not only cause you to use it as an excuse or a crutch, but it will also cause you to limit yourself. Because with grudges, we hurt so many different people. We frustrate so many different people because we want to make them pay for what we've been through. When in the long run, we end up hurting ourselves. And that's the big effect from it, is the fact of hurting yourself while trying to get even with others or get even with somebody else. People say, man, I don't try to get even. Yes, you do. Which is the reason we feel like, oh, well, I'm going to take my hands off of it. I'm going to leave it alone. Yeah, you will learn in the long run. It's a grudge. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so upset. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to take your hands off of it. You would stay where you at. Because first things first, your hands shouldn't have to be on it to handle it anyway. God should be in the midst to take care of that. But like I said, when I say take your hands off of it, I mean to give up. A lot of times we give up because things don't go our way. It's not supposed to. And when it doesn't go our way and we immediately get frustrated and upset by that, we want others to feel how we feel. That's a little percentage of grudges. Whenever we operate, like I say, we operate with people a certain way. We handle people a certain way. We do things a certain way. We use excuses at certain times. We show resentment at certain times. We show feelings of ill will. We do this and we do that. All of this is out of grudges. You're not happy with your life because of grudges. Has nothing to do with anybody else. The real effect of this is I'm not happy with who I am or where I am because of the grudge that I held on to. It's not because somebody else hurt you. We're all human. People make mistakes. The most intelligent individual makes mistakes. The strongest person spiritually with discernment, prophecy, they're still human. They make mistakes. And that's what we fail to realize. Life is formed and built out of mistakes that, for one, we can't try to fix. We have to allow God to fix that for us. And that's where we go wrong. So, like I said, today was just the fact of basically covering what a grudge is and small effects of grudges. I'll get into the larger effects later on. But for now, I just want you all to focus on what a grudge is and the small effects. Look at the small changes throughout your life. Every time you get upset, you can bring an excuse and hold it over somebody's head. Oh, well, remember you did this? It's like you ain't let it go. Oh, I let it go. I just remembered. You still remember it and can bring it up? That's a grudge. You're not giving them room or allowing them to grow because you're hanging it over their head. That's a grudge. Now, I'm good. I don't want to do such and such because I know how that turned out. Well, Things change. Some people say, no, don't nothing change. Everything changes. And in the streets, we like to say money is it stays 100. Money is still money. Same number, same bill, same president on it, but it changed. And we forget that humans are the same way. Regardless of what it looked like, regardless of who I am, I still change. Regardless of how I feel, regardless of how I act, I still change. So if you don't give me that room and that opportunity for growth, then you're piling me up with your grudges that you haven't let go. People can't grow from that. And if you're holding a grudge and you're weighing somebody down because of what they once did to you, and you don't want to let them get over that because you're not over the hurt you had and forgot about it, then guess what? You're not growing either. I say it all the time. If I'm sitting like this on top of you and you can't move, neither can I. If I put a weight on top of your life and just hold it down, you can't move, but neither can I. I'm so busy, and that's another effect that I didn't really want to get into in this video. I just wanted to get into something small about the effects of grudges and then let it grow later. But that's something else we have to remember. As long as I'm using that weight to hold it down on you and get a point across so you can understand how I feel, then I'm not growing either. Why do you say that? It's impossible for me to grow and elevate to another level and keep going up. But yet I'm down here trying to make sure I reach down and keep a weight on top of you to keep you from growing. It doesn't make sense. As long as you hold grudges, you will never grow yourself. That's the largest effect from it. Not only will you not be happy, but you won't grow as well. You will never be happy as well. You will never be where you want to be because you're so stuck on where you've been. I ask that y'all do not let grudges overtake your life anymore. Don't allow grudges to hinder you from pure happiness. Whether it be with the same person you want to be with, whether you want to let that person go and try something new, whether you want to keep that same job, whether you want to leave that job and try something new, whether you want to keep that same friendship, leave that friendship, try something new. Don't allow grudges to hinder you from anything. If you're not careful, grudges will have controlled your whole life, and you will end up dying with no elevation, no happiness, no purity, no growth, no nothing. All because you allowed 5% of a grudge to overtake your life. I'm telling you now, I'm a prime example of what a grudge will do to you and how it'll make you operate. I'm a prime example of the effects of grudges just being brought down and talked down over the years. Nobody is made to hate anybody. If you believe in God in any shape, form, or fashion, God doesn't teach you to hold a grudge. God doesn't teach you to be angry with someone. God doesn't teach you to hold on to what has happened. No. That's not it. We as humans, and I might be drifting off topic, this might be the minister side of me, but we as people come up with our own ways to everything. Everything. Church might offend a lot of people, but I don't remember different denominations being in the Bible. It's a lot of people that don't agree with the Bible because of certain things. Hey, personally, I have questions about certain things. You know what I mean? But even with that, that's not it. That's not in there. If anything, I remember being taught and reading that God has you on a certain journey for a certain reason. And when people hurt you, or if something hurts you, or you have a feeling towards that, you take that out to that brother or that sister. Find the proper way to handle that. He never said handle that and then hold on to that grudge later so you can bring it up. No, if you forgive people and you want to move past it, you have to let go of that grudge. It is impossible to move on with life and yet hold on to what once had happened to you. It doesn't work. Because in reality, your chain is only so long before you have to cut it loose. People say, what do you mean by that? Okay, well, if I'm holding on to a grudge, that grudge isn't long enough for me to get to the next level. I can stay on that same level all day and walk with it up and down. But if I want to get to the next level and go up the stairs, that chain is going to cut out. So eventually I'm going to have to let go of that. Otherwise, I never reach my full potential. Otherwise, I never get exactly where I'm trying to get to or where God wants me to be. You can't allow grudges to hold you down for the rest of your life. You'll never be happy. And you'll be sitting around here blaming everybody else, trying to figure out, man, what happened? Everybody just did me so wrong. No, you did you wrong. You were an effect from the grudges that you held. Because somebody hurt you at one point in time and you didn't allow God to let you grow from that or heal you from that because you wanted to hang on to it to always say, hey, I once dealt with that. I'm telling you now, let it go. I had a relationship maybe 15 years ago. And that relationship lasted a couple of years, off and on. I've never been so hurt in my life. And after we get done with the series for grudges and the effects of grudges, I'm going to jump to another one that says a scarred man. Because people seem to forget that men hurt just like women. People seem to forget that men are human just like women. We're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be bold. We're supposed to be this and that. Yeah, but we still human. We still have emotions. We still have feelings. We still have a life to live. I said all of that to say you will never be you. You will never have your full potential. You will never get what God has given you as long as you hold on to the negativity. Don't allow it to frustrate your day. Don't allow it to ruin your mood. Don't allow it to affect your life. Grudges play a strong effect on everything, no matter how big or how small. We just have to get to a point where we acknowledge that and we can say, hey, I have been operating out of grudges. I have been dealing with people out of grudges. It took me 31 years to realize that the majority of my life, I've been operating out of grudges. So every relationship that I've messed up, every problem that I've caused, every hurt that I've poured off on others, that was me. Me being the effect of holding on to a grudge that wasn't healthy for me. When I knew better, I held on to it. Don't be like me. Don't be an effect from a grudge. Be able to tell people how you overcame the effects of grudges. Don't turn out to be one. It's not a great feeling. So I leave you with this. I talk to God on a daily. And I always say, I ask him to remove the grudges from my life. Because I cannot benefit, I cannot grow, I cannot elevate. I cannot do anything as long as I hold on to what once happened to me. It's one thing to remember. It's another thing to remember and act on it. Pay attention. For the next few days, pay attention to how you operate with people. Family, friends, loved ones, whoever. Pay attention to the conversation you hold. Pay attention to the actions that you give, the vibes that you feed off of. or the vibes that you give. If anything appears to be a grudge, whether it be, like I said, the excuse of, I don't want to do this, I've been there before. Okay? But you don't know what the future holds. We as people, quick to use something good or beneficial, what is beneficial for us. We quick to holler, oh man, God will do this, God gonna make a way for that, God of this, God of that. But we don't want God to touch, agree, or do anything when it comes to our grudges. We want to hold on to that to be able to say, hey, you once wronged me. Or hey, you once crossed me. Or hey, I once been hurt by that. I was insulted by that. I can never get over that. Whenever you can say, I will never get over, or I can never get over, that's grudges. God will allow you to get over anything if you really want to get over it. God will fix anything in your life if you allow him. And a lot of times we don't realize that we have grudges and operate with God out of grudges. People say, no, I never operate with God out of grudges. Yes, you do. You definitely do. Whenever you don't allow God to come in to fix your situation, that's a grudge. People say, oh, I allow God to come in all the time. I want God to come in. You wanting God to come in and allowing God is two different. They always taught us that God will knock at your door all day. He's not going to force himself in. So it's like saying, man, I want company. I want a friend. I want this. I want that. But when they come knocking, I don't want it right now. Go away. Well, that's what you asked for. God say the same thing. Hey, you asked me, you wanted me to come, but you're not allowing me to change your life. You're not allowing me to break the cycle. Because every time I get to break it, you go back and you start putting pieces of the puzzle together. Every time you get upset, you put a puzzle back together. God come through and knock the puzzle down, break it up, say, okay, now I'm fixing this, don't touch it. The second we get mad, there go our grudges. Let me put this piece of the puzzle back together. Let me do this. Yep, I knew it. And then once we get the puzzle back, it's like, see, I remember I was hurt there. Or I remember seeing that. God said, so why bother? Even with giving you the desires of your heart, God is not going to force anything on you. If your desires are not his desire, but you want it bad enough, and you're seeking him for it, he'll give it to you. Now, whether or not it play out how you want is completely different. But he'll put it in your path for you to get it. Hey, son. Hey, daughter, don't jump off that cliff. Yeah, God, but it's something good at the bottom. I really want to see what it is. I'm telling you, don't jump off that cliff. Like God can tell us all day. But when we decide, hey, I'm going to do what I want, I have another opportunity, I can fix it later. Come on, man. That's grudges. Because we feel like I'm going to do what I want, the way I want, the when I want it, all of that. Because of how I feel and because I want. Because of what I want, excuse me. Man, all that's grudges. No, I say, no matter how positive or negative the outcome may appear or the situation may appear, if you look at yourself, you can tell whether or not you're operating out of grudges. So I just ask that you all, like I said, take a few days to see who you are. I want you to talk to God and tell God, hey, look, if I have any percentage or any form of grudges in my life, show me. Show me where I operate out of grudges. And if you ask God and believe that, God will show you. I'm a firm believer. Like I said, it took me 31 years to realize that the majority of my life and relationships that I have messed up have all been out of grudges. Don't be like me. Because not only do you end up hurting other people that you can't go back and fix, but you will end up hurting yourself in the long run. Don't be an effect from grudges. just be able to tell people how you overcame the effects from grudges. And again, I am Melvin Jackson. This is 15 Minutes of Fame. Sorry, this was the first video, so everything is a bit of a rough draft. I have a lot going on, a lot that I want to talk to you all about. And I hope and pray that you will tune back in. Send some friends to the video, to the podcast, the broadcast, whatever you want to call it. Man, send people here. I'm all for it. I'm here to help other people so you don't turn out how I turned out. So you don't have the bitterness and the anger inside of you the way that I do or did. I want to help somebody from going down the wrong path. Hey man, you might say, look, I'm hurt. And I was hurt by somebody I trusted all my life. And that hurt really bothered me. I understand that. We all have. I have hurt from relationships. I have hurt from relatives, like family, friends, like I have hurt from everywhere. And I'm going to write a book, and the book is going to be a scarred man. The life of a scarred man. Because like I said, people don't realize that men are just like women. People feel like, oh man, a woman is always hurt. The woman is always such and such. She holding grudges. She hanging over my head. No, man, we do the same. Notice I keep saying me, I, myself. I'm a prime example of this. I don't want to put it off on nobody else. I am my own problem because of grudges. And because of that, I've been other people's problems as well. Man, don't turn out like me. Because it doesn't feel good when you know you've hurt people over the years, all because you was once hurt at one point in time and you never let it go. Don't allow your kids to come up hurt and hating people or feeling a certain way because you was too cowardly of a person, a man or a woman, to get yourself together. You rather push it off on everybody else and say, oh, they're the reason I hurt. No. Something or somebody was the reason you got hurt at one point in time. But you're the reason you're still hurt because you won't let it go. You have to learn to let go of the hurt, the anger, so you don't hold grudges. Otherwise, you have a big problem in the end. And a big problem is harder to fix than just letting go and fixing yourself or allowing God to fix you. So again, I thank you all for tuning in. I love you all, everybody that tuned in. Like the video, share it, send people back. Remember, this is just the first video. This is a rough draft, as I would call it. The first video is always a rough draft. Things will get deeper. Things will get better. Things will change over time. I ask that you all again tune in, send people. Again, I love you. I thank you. I'll talk to you later.